Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's right on 11 o'clock, and we're gonna start this webinar right now. So I guess you guys are come here not for the food, right? Although we talked about it just now. This is for the wood snake year and some trend and also astrology, where Evelyn and PC is going to share their expertise. So without further ado, I'm just going to pass the floor to I think Evelyn is going to start, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, guys, if you know Evelyn before, if you have heard about Evelyn before, just help me type in the chat box. Type one. No, just get used to how to use the chat box. So, if you have question, then you use the Q&A box to type it. So, if you don't know about Evelyn, you have never heard of her before, you type zero. Right? Zero means this is the first time you get in touch with us. So we kind of like know who are new and who are not. So glad to have everybody here. So excited. So without further ado, let's start the session. Evelyn, passing the floor to you.
Yeah, okay. I will share screen. It seems that in the poll, there are quite a number of people, about 60 to 70, 7 to 70% of people that are quite familiar with us already in our work on astrology and global trends. There are a handful that, still new to us.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, please let me know.
Yes.
Am I sharing?
Yes, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's in full screen right now. Awesome.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, KC, BC, and I would like to thank KC for hosting us today, giving us the opportunity to present our annual book. I think this is the third time that we are here to present about the book. We have done it, I think, in the past since 2020,
Yeah.
22, I think. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
we
right.
did.
Yes, we did. So it's like an annual affair already. So today we are going to talk about next year's outlook, 2025 Wood Snake Year Astrology and Global Trends forecast, and it's based on our book of the Wood Snake Year as well. So the purpose of this webinar is to let y'all have an outlook to identify the opportunities and the threats that to boost their investment in 2025. Okay, because 2025, the energy is going to be quite dynamic. We shall look at it. How dynamic is the energy? So this is the talk will be based on this book itself. And we have a link that you can download a free chapter if you are interested in. Okay, so the top agenda will be a recap of 2024, because remember last year we were here talking about 2024. So let's do a little bit of recap. And also next is for those who are very new to Chinese astrology and global trends, we'll talk a bit on why Chinese astrology can be used as a tools to forecast global trends besides doing global trend research, which my partner PC, PC is doing. Okay, so and we have the 2025 astrology forecast and also 2025 global trends forecast by BC. We should see if these two things are aligned as well, using the two methods of astrology and also using the global trends research on where the trends is going to bring us to in 2025 from economic, financial, and geopolitical standpoint and conclusion. And we also have a conclusion of what we have today. Okay. Just a little bit of introduction on ourselves. We are we are the founder of Global Trends and Astrology. We founded this platform, I think 3 years ago, and where we deploy two methods, Chinese astrology and trend research, to forecast global trends, to give our audience a higher accuracy and ensure that, it will also help to identify the potential investment opportunities and threats as well. We have also written books like Unlock Your Wealth Potential, which is available in the bookstore
in Shopee.
in Malaysia, in Shopee.
In Shopee.
As well. Yeah, in Shopee. And also, yes, now it's available in online, but we have done a few book preview, and also at Casey Lau's platform, we also have done this book preview before. That's why I think most of y'all are quite familiar with our work if you're a follower of Casey Lau. I personally also follow Casey Lau for most of the investment things. Okay. It will not be complete if you just do astrology without, understanding the investment landscape as well. So these are the books that were written, and today we have, for the past years, and today we are in the third year already, so 2025. And we shall do a little bit of recap on 2024 itself, okay, what we have said and what really has taken place. Okay, yeah. So we talk about 2024 where the earth energy is quite strong and the wood energy is quite strong, right? And there are also, very limited water in the chart, means that it's not wealth chart. So it's not easy to get wealth opportunity, and the wealth opportunity is quite a bit like volatile. Okay, once you have it, you have it. So let's look at how accurate our forecasts were. And what we have forecast is increased geopolitical tensions between East and West, which is also true that the ongoing conflict of Europe, Middle East, that leading to regional instability, the continuation of Russia-Ukraine conflict, which is happening, and also ongoing issues of inflation, rising energy costs, which is also going on, climate-related events. There's a lot of freaky climate-related events, and also even earthquake as well, right? Like weather conditions, typhoons, and all this that's happening, at different place, different months. So the rise of also technology across multiple platforms, like this year we see a very big adoption of AI, and AI has also gone into another level. Okay, besides just generative AI, there will be like AI agents and all this coming in. And unfortunately, this is something that we hope that it will not happen. But we see it happen, like, jobless layoff increase. There are many MNCs that you can see in the news that's happening. And then also we talk about Bitcoin price, which is also trending upwards. Okay, so this is what we predict. Even I think those have been our platforms. We talk about the digital assets and also the gold as well. Okay, and then technology, AI, everything virtue, and what we have okay, this is actually 2024, sorry. So property will have attention, but the price will not go up, and then we face that the food price will go up. Then the metal, there will be more attention than 2023, where the gold price also has gone up. The fire energy is also prominent, but and then the water, there's not much attention there. Okay, and yeah. So next we will talk about a little bit, just a little bit to share with our audience what is Chinese astrology and how you can use to forecast on global trends. So everyone who knows Chinese astrology will know the 5 elements, right? Anyone of you have heard of Chinese metaphysics or Chinese astrology, or is this the first time? If this is the first time, you just type in F in the chat box, so that I know, where our audience comes from, so that maybe I can be a bit slow. Oh, okay, Augustine Lim, first time. How about the rest? Oh, first time also. Okay. Oh, we have a couple of audience that are first timer. Yeah. So as you know, but at a very basic level, we know that Chinese astrology actually is based on the 5 elements, which is fire and wood, metal, water, and also earth. Okay, so we are in the period where the fire energy takes a center stage. Okay, because every 20 years, with the alignment of the planets, the energy will change. So I will explain more into it, that these actually 5 elements in the Chinese astrology or Chinese metaphysics system is actually in relation to the planets in the sky, how they move around, orbit around the sun, and how they impact the earth with the magnetic field. because everything around us is energy. Even now, like we all here, we are interacting, it's all energy. Our feelings is energy at the micro level, but at the macro level, like those, disasters and all these are also related to energy as well. And we can track the disasters on what's happening with the cluster of the stars in the skies together with the movement of the planets. Okay, so in other words, Earth is the third planet from the sun, the solar system. And also what happens that all these planets, when they conjunction with each other, then there will be some kind of events that is happening. Okay, so each planet has their own energy. Like Mercury is actually water, which is to the water in the five elements energy. Venus is actually metal. Mars is fire energy. Saturn is wood, and Jupiter. Saturn is earth, and Jupiter is wood. So all these five elements energy, actually they would exist, and the best if they exist in balance. That means the wood will create fire, fire will create earth, earth will create metal, metal will create water, and again to the wood. So we know that most of the things like life cycle, everything in the universe happens in a cycle. So these are all cycles, and also they are countering each other as well. Like wood will counter earth. So if they exist in balance, the countering cycle, the weakening cycle, and also the producing cycle, they were all in balance, in harmony. In other words, this is what actually we want, but sometimes it does not happen in this way. And how do we know that it does not happen or it will happen in this way? Is actually through assets of reading a chart. Okay, so in Chinese astrology and global trends, actually we have the trinities, right? We talk about heaven, like people's luck. We talk about heaven, man's luck, heaven's luck, their birth chart, and also man is the action by people, and so earth is actually your environment you stay. It means that your feng shui. These are all like trinities that usually you hear of from the feng shui sifu. But in the Chinese astrology context, we will also talk about this, like heaven is actually governing the natural resources and natural disasters and the weather. And then the government is actually, the earth is actually related to government, geopolitics, and also man is leader and human resource. All these things are also interrelated, which will impact our economy, our global trends. That is what is happening. So in Chinese, if you know Chinese, we always say 天地人和, right? So this is also in the context of Chinese astrology. It's also the same concept. Okay, so the five elements has to be in balance with each other. So when the five elements that are harmony, everything there will be is very good. That means things will go up upwards and will be prosperous. Whereas when when one of them is out of balance, then it will sort of cause the whole thing to be not balanced as well. So it will be like some kind of a downward spiral in a way. So we use global as Chinese astrology like birth chart. We call it a time chart. Actually, this is also in our birth chart. It's termed as 八字 chart now, if you know it. So the year have a year elements. Month has a month element. That means from the Gregorian calendar, we translate this into a chart where we can see the five elements inside, and then we decode what is the five elements interaction in order to give a forecast on the economy of the year, the harvest, the weather, the disasters, and the mankind. Because in the ancient days, there are no science and no very sophisticated equipment, but those people, they look at the stars and they know how to plot the position of the sun against the year, what is the element, the month, what's the element, and then the day, the hour, and they can decode the chart and give a reading that what is the forecast. Okay, so that's how it impact the global trends. But in the past, it's more on weather, because agriculture in the past, the major economic activities is agriculture. That is why weather is very important. But today, I'm sure it's also quite important, right? So there are few approaches, a few tools in Chinese astrology that can be used to forecast a year. Okay, one is I Ching, hexagram. Okay, I think most of you have heard that the I Ching 64 hexagram, the Qimen chart, the Bazi chart, that means the year pillar, the day pillar, just now I shared with you, and also in the almanac, or we call it Tong Shu, we also have drawing like this that also signifies the weather, because this, although you can see the cowhead and the cows and the sun, but they have different position, different drawings for different years, and if interpret it, it will be quite different, and it's more for, in the past, it's used for agricultural activities, because in the past, people are not so educated. So they just put up this chart, then people will know roughly that this year will be a raining season or will be, a drought season, and people can prepare for it. Okay, so this was been done before. Okay, so in other words, we are using astronomical events, what happened in the chart, in the skies itself and the stars itself, to sort of predict the major events. Okay, so like some like eclipse of the sun, also the same, like it will sort of bring some signs. The lunar eclipse also will bring some signs that represent economy, people, and also in the conjunction of the stars, for example, Mars and Venus, they align. Then they go through a cluster of auspicious stars. Then this is when the Ukraine war happened. So what happened up in the skies? The energy, it will reflect on the earth, that will give rise to a certain global events. Okay, so but it will just give you a trend. More accurate, then we have to go through some scientific studies, like global trends, where my partner PC Wong comes in as well. Okay, so these two methods will give you a better accuracy on the overview. And I think most of the time our forecast is quite aligned, right, PC?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But there will always be some surprises. For example, we in our book, Unlock Your Wealth Potential, which we released it, I think, this year, is it? Or last year? Last year. Last year, we predicted that the AI would transform a lot of economy, but we never realized that it will move too fast.
So fast.
Okay,
Yeah.
so fast. Okay, we also predicted that there will be a new low altitude economy due to the VTOLs, as well as the unmanned UAVs. And right now, China has already started a low altitude economy. So a lot of things that we've written in the book over what will happen in the first 4 years, first 5 years, is already unfolding. Okay, so right now we are looking at specifically for 2025, but looking back 2024, I think our accuracy is close to about 80%, if not slightly more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. So as we do this, we also get better in terms of our knowledge as well. Okay, so in unfolding those economy, because we don't live, we humans don't live until 100, 200 years. So that's why it's a bit difficult to correlate. The cycles sometimes happen longer. So this is where the inaccuracy comes in.
If you find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more valuable insights and updates. By subscribing, you will be the first to know when I post new content.
Okay, so in terms of economy, the wood energy will represent agriculture, wood, furniture, fashion, clothing, education. And then the fire economy will represent an economic sector of now technology, energy, military, food and restaurant. Okay, earth will represent properties and real estate, for those that and natural resources, for those that for the last 20 years, like 2004 and 2000 to 2023, the earth is actually the center stage. But from this year onwards, the fire is the center stage. That's why Earth was very prominent in the property market was very prominent in the last 20 years. Okay, so yeah, and then metal represent the industries of finance, automobile, precious metal, and heavy machinery. Okay, so I think for the last 1 to 2 years, the metal industry is not doing well. Like for example, financial institute like banking, because that element has been countered quite badly. And water is actually under the influence planet of Mercury, and then the industries is consumer goods, shipping, and transformation and tourism. Okay, so this is a bit about Chinese astrology and how it's used to predict global trends itself. So the next one is on, I think this is what the highlight of today's talk that everyone is looking forward to forecast on the energy band of 2025. I will use a more scientific manner way to explain all this chart, because I'm also from a scientific background. I was an engineering professional for the past 30 years in several multinational companies. Okay, so I normally decode the chart, or I use planets and all this to explain. If I cannot explain, means that I will not talk about it. Okay, so in this year 2025, 3rd of February 2011, we have a transition of energy over the spring energy. So every year, if we want to predict a global economy situation, we will look at people's so-called arrival of spring, the movement charts, the pillar chart. That means I translate this, and next year is going to be a snake year. But next year, the Chinese New Year happens in the 28th of January. It's still not yet a snake year. It's still a dragon year. And we follow the solar calendar in order to transition, where the position of the sun is already, related to the palace and also the movement of the sky. So every year, the arrival of spring of so-called Li Chun in Chinese is actually happening in the, in either 3rd or 4th of February. And this year is on the 3rd of February. Time is 2011. So we will go through 2025 means that the elements, the year pillar is snake, yi, wood. And yi, snake, yi si, that means a wood snake, okay? Heaven and stem. So this is the 5 pillar. We can see the wood and also the elements of fire already. All these 12 animal signs, actually the most important thing is that we look at what is inside the element. It's not the animal sign itself, but it's what is inside, because they hide this is a branch that such the roots hide a lot of things. So we are looking at the elements that is useful. That means we decode it in still 5 elements. But 5 elements, sometimes we have we have yin and yang times 2, so there are 10 times. So this is how we read the chart. And then in February is always the month of Yin month, so Wu Yin, so it's translated into this. And then 3rd is a day of Kui Mao, and also this time is actually the Kui Hai, or the water peak hour. Okay, so once we translated the Gregorian calendar into this form chart, we can easily see the 5 elements already. Okay, and then we can start understand the relationship already between them, that the cycles between them. Okay, so next year, everyone on earth, this pillar will represent every people on earth. Okay, every year is the same. The day stamps will represent all the people on earth. The month stamp will represent the government. Okay, the year stamp will represent the big economy, the general economy, and the hour will represent the output. Okay, so this is the whole parts chart, and how we translate. Last time we used 10,000 year calendar, but now we already have software. So you can see, you see here, water produce wood. That means output. You see, a lot of wood here in the chart. That means Kui water, this is called a Kui water. That means a yin version of a water. Okay, the yang version of the water is a river water, that the rainwater. If you have some background on Chinese metaphysics. So Kui water will have a lot of wood. That means you need to produce a lot of wood. That means people on earth will need general population. They will need to work hard However, you see cold water, what we control the element. You should see the element in the chart itself. The fire is is only in the year pillar. There's not much fire. Okay, so okay, what the water control is the wealth element of the year. So it's not so prosperous. So it means that the wood itself, but it's difficult to turn into wealth. Okay, we already put in the book in a more detailed perspective what it means, but generally I put it in a more simple language. So and then this one what controls water? This is earth controls water. This one earth control water. This is actually this is actually in a more advanced level of reading, means that this and this is combined. That means for those working, you must really keep a very good relationship with your boss. Very important. Okay. And then prominent, because there's so many words in this chart also. They are of 8, they already occupy about 3. So means that there will be wind related natural disasters also happening. Okay. So it's already started happening this month, last month in the peak month, because the peak month is the Li Dong, or the arrival of winter. Arrival of winter will already representing the the energy of arrival of the spring. It will give rise to the arrival of the spring energy already. Okay, so this is more advanced level of reading, but I'm just sharing for those who are interested in in Chinese astrology. However, you can also see there is also sort of instability in government that we can see here as well. Okay, so because this and this is a clash also, and also attention also will be because if you look at the year pillar alone, this is the fire, this is a wood. Wood create fire. That means the fire is going to be quite strong. In fact, the next 2-3 years, the fire is going to be strong. We are going into a fire period. We are going into the fire years in the fire periods. So that's why there will be a lot of transformations going on in these 2-3 years. Okay,
I think
so
just to add, Evelyn,
yeah,
our book also highlights the economic outlook, by region, namely the US, China, Europe, and we also touch a bit on ASEAN. So it is sharing with you the global trends of the economy of multiple regions around the world.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, because this and this is actually a clash, so it will be quite challenging. And all these things these 3 animal signs they also have this is called sky horse so they will also have ungrateful punishment. Okay, so that is why it will also cause a lot of man-made disasters as well. A man-made emotional not stable even at the leadership level. Okay. So yeah, this is one thing. Since I'm here already, I will share with you because the winter is Yi and this is a clash because the peak and the water and fire is a clash and the sky horse. So next year, be careful when traveling. There will be more of incidents related to long vehicle for next year. Okay.
Evelyn, there's a comment by someone. Can you address it?
Yeah, okay. Can I look at it?
It's quite important.
Okay, the link.
For the free chapter.
Oh, really? I will need to look into it. Okay, I will need to look into it. For the free chapter, do you use this link here to download the forecast book? I think it's in the, maybe you can try it up PC if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jin Lau. I think that was earlier on I made a mistake. I think now if you this one I've already corrected it. I realized that. Thank you. Okay, I realized that. Thanks for telling me now. That was, I think, I put it up 1-2 days after that. I realized that, so I already take it out. Okay, so okay, so for geopolitical, for 2024, 2025 is also not stable because we know that there is a lot of election going on in different countries. So it also correlates with the trends we are seeing in the global trends in the astrology energy as well. The Chinese astrology energy, like the Bazi and also the I Ching. Okay, so it will continue on in 2025. I think there's also a lot of countries going for election right in 2025 BC.
Yeah. I think the world is getting a bit very edgy. It's not only elections that will change the government, but I think there is going to be a lot of insurgencies. And already we can see that South Korea is undergoing change. Probably Syria is already undergoing change, and I think it will spread to elsewhere in Europe, especially Europe is seeing vast deindustrialization. And recently in the UK, the people are petitioning to have new elections because the favorable poll for for Starmer, the poll for Starmer actually fell into negative territory. So people wanted him out of the government. So we are going to see a lot of all this, okay? Protests, insurgencies, change of government. So it has become more volatile, definitely.
In a world where market trends are as mysterious as the stars, investors seek clarity beyond the chaos. Meet Evelyn Tan, a Chinese astrologist, and her co-founder, Wong, an investment guru, where ancient wisdom meets modern market trend research. Experience investment forecasting refined by Chinese astrology. Join top investors who trust their precise insights for their most crucial decisions. Ready to transform your investments? Join now for exclusive insights and forecasts brought to you by Astrology and Global Trends.
Okay, yeah. Okay, understand. So yeah. And then another thing is that generally how this impacts you that actually I put this chart or these slides out many years ago when I go through the first talk when Casey gave me an opportunity to present a talk on my book Beyond the Corporate World. That time I already put out this chart and already predicted that a lot of traditional job is going away with evolution of AI about 3 years ago. And now it's already what happened is already happening here. Okay, so is this one because that time maybe I'm ahead of time. Sometimes we can be ahead of time in a way. I have a member who tells us, hey, you guys are like 2-3 years ahead. So yeah, so this is what we are now in period 9. The next 20 years that I'm in the so-called a fire period or Li Gua period. So it will represent brightness and clarity. So energy and passion and a lot of transformations that's going on. Things happening very fast. Even what we predicted sometimes in our book also is happening faster than we anticipated. And people will become more spiritual. And there is also a lot of independence, equality, like Me Too, #MeToo sort of movement. Okay. And a lot of revolutions also unrest. Remember the Columbia University, students unrest at the time protesting against the Palestine, right? The movement that happens early this year. So we see a lot of these things. And you can see that those that work in the corporate world, even in the enterprise, in the entrepreneurship, a lot of middle-aged women starts to be very prominent. And also, this is a period where if you are not careful, the energy is so vibrant. So you have to also, have some sort of more like a spiritual practice because it will also cause a lot of mental state problems. That's why these few years, mental health is also getting very prominent. Right, agree. Everyone in the chat, do y'all see this trend or not? can give me a two if you see this trend. Okay, and then also, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so and also online scammer, they will be also quite prominent. Sometimes AI has double-edged sword. It also, is when I see the AI's capability, I also, quite afraid also in a way, on this, how it is being used for the wrong
In fact,
purpose.
right now, a lot of viral attack is being used by those people in conjunction with AI. So that is why there is a if you are into the stock market, you will see that many of the major antivirus and protection kind of software, yeah, their stocks have been rocketing because of the AI threat. And this I think sometimes is both good and bad of AI. The other side of it is that rapid industrialization, especially in China, have the robotics density, from 15 position have moved up to 5, and the latest ranking they have moved up to 3. So they are integrating AI into robotics, so much so that a lot of the factories are operated in dim light. Okay, just operating by sensors. They don't need a lot of lighting at all. So and because of that, it also creates the lack of demand for skilled workers. So have both sides of the story.
Okay. Yeah. So in next year, also the same thing, the hexagram of the year, we call evaluation hexagram, is also fire. So it's going to be quite volatile also, same thing, transformation and volatility. So they are all aligned together. So that's why spiritual well-being is important. And I think we can go over to BC, your section, in terms of the 2025 financial, economy, and geopolitical forecast, and see whether it aligns with the astrology forecast as well. Over to you, BC.
Yeah, so let's talk about the 2025 economy. Now, I think there's going to be a fiscal and political crisis in Europe. In the book, I explain in detail why it can happen. But I think most of you are beginning to see that kind of transition. And US economy will decelerate due to resurgent inflation. And interest rate cuts will fuel further inflation, and everything, it has everything to do with the US debt level. For those who have been following the news, you will realize that the US debt has now reached 36 trillion and interest payment of 1.1 trillion a year. Now that is equivalent to almost 20% of the tax revenue. And you have to ask yourself, how can this be sustainable? And the other thing is that the trade and technology war 2.0 between US and China potentially will erupt in 2025. Trump already said that he will launch tariff against Chinese companies, and China has already retaliated by cutting supplies of much needed minerals that the US would require for its military industrial complex. So this will again lead to disruptions in global supply chains. And this will actually cause a lot of inflationary pressure depending on which region it is. China is not actually facing inflationary economy. A lot of people say that it is facing deflation because of its low inflation. So again, different regions are actually exhibiting different type of economic directions or dynamism. So then trade among global South nations flourishes. In the book, again, we detail the how the structure of trade has already changed. Okay, and China and ASEAN should underpin the global growth, and Africa rises. We explain why. In fact, if you look at the IMF World Economic Forecast, it will be Asia and ASEAN that will actually underpin the entire global economic growth, because US is forecast to grow, I think, just about 2%. Europe is actually less than that. But the IMF have always been wrong. Now, a lot of people like to say that US economy is very strong because they think that the stock market is a reflection of the economy. Actually, it is not. Now, the US economy, its GDP growth is driven by its huge debt. In fact, recent trend that emerges a few quarters ago is showing that the US adds about $1 trillion in debt every 90 to 100 days. And this debt is being funneled into the economy. And if you also go deeper, you will also realize that the US Treasury right now is issuing bonds to buy back bonds. Okay, so that's a bit crazy, because the Fed is not doing QE. The US Treasury Department is saying, okay, let us do QE. And if you look at the US Treasury holding report, a lot of nations are actually, sovereign nations, which means through their central banks, they are reducing their US Treasury holdings in favor of assets like gold. And that's why this entire period where gold actually moved higher is not driven by retail investors. It is plainly driven by central banks. Now, when central banks start to hoard gold, you will realize that they are afraid of what is going to happen to the economy. And in a situation where yields, sovereign bond yields have been rising, it is causing the value of bond to depreciate. Now, central banks hold a lot of bonds. When the value of bonds depreciate, it means that the value of the asset of central banks' reserves deteriorates. Now, when that happens, the only thing that is left where central banks hold as an asset is gold, and that is right now appreciating. So that goes to show that next year, there's going to be a lot of readjustment. Central banks are hoarding gold for a reason, okay? And the US is suppressing gold and promoting a digitized economy for another reason, okay? So basically, we will see a gradual transition towards a digitized global economy, and that will be continue to gain strength. Even among BRICS nations, there have been talk about developing the mBridge payment system, which is outside of the SWIFT. And in the US, gradual adoption of crypto into the real economy, and even the BRICS mBridge platform that they are exploring eventually will be tokenized, okay? And that means that a lot of the currencies will be digitized. So because of the change, we will potentially see currency crisis in some countries. In fact, some countries that used to be very strong are now exhibiting a currency crisis. For example, South Korea, the Korean won has dropped tremendously due to changing political situation brought on by changing economic situation. So, and the Japanese yen also could face some crisis, mainly because of the BOJ that keeps on printing lots of yen to prevent the government from needing to pay a much higher interest, okay? So then in the economy, AI roles will intensify, advent of new technology to power multiple economic sectors, further development in quantum computing, and greater integration of robotics into the real economy. That is inevitable because recent studies conducted by the UN have shown that the global population is shrinking. And BRICS Plus will shine and underpin a new era of joint partnerships and collaborations. Now, recently in the BRICS Summit, they have incorporated, I think, more than 10 countries, of which 4 of the bigger countries are going to be partners, okay, which are Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, okay? So
Okay.
next.
Okay, yeah.
So in terms of finance, I think more central banks will cut interest rates, leading to mass speculations across multiple assets. Now, that's the reason why the stock market continues to go up. That is because of central banks cutting interest rate, trying to head off a recession. I think a recession is already built in. It's just that the amount of liquidity that is being pumped into the economy is keeping the stock market afloat. But if you look at it on a real sense, there are a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. For example, that inflation is being misreported, okay, in the US, simply because they want to cut interest rate, because the government debt is unsustainable. That is why the reporting of the CPI in US is being managed lower so that it allows the Fed to cut interest rate. Otherwise, the government debt will keep on skyrocketing. And also, you know, the Biden admin is trying to manipulate the commodities market. You can see that even the explosive crisis in the Middle East, oil has not moved up, okay? And despite the huge global debt, which have reached a new record high, you know, precious metals are also being suppressed. And that is also the reason why there is a lot of debt that the US accumulate, because you need money to suppress the commodities market. So when you suppress the price of energy, naturally, because energy is being used throughout the economy, it will also lower the inflation. But for those people who are actually experiencing it, you will realize that, you know, it is like a recession that is affecting a lot of people, because the number of homeless people in the US have just reached a new record high. Property tax have been rising constantly. So that doesn't show that a very dynamic economy. Rather, people put the money into speculation, and that means that because of that infusion of global liquidity, speculation will become even more wild, okay, which means that volatility would increase, especially in the crypto sphere and the stock market. So central banks will see the need to address faltering financial system, leading to a potential reset of the global financial system. Now, this could be in play, but may not necessarily be implemented. But definitely you will see that more central banks continue to buy gold. More central banks governors around the world will continue to express the need to reset the financial system because of the unsustainable debt. When the global GDP is about 100 trillion and global debt is about 320 trillion, that debt will never be repaid. And the greater the debt, the greater the financial system, the global financial system, it is at risk. So smart money will stay on the sidelines as insiders sell amid round of corporate buybacks. Now this will be the trend, because the insiders would want a higher stock price so that they can exit, because they have nice stock options. And the only way to do it is to use the company funds to push up the stock market. That is why you already see it. Okay, people like Bezos has been selling Amazon. Buffett has been selling stocks to put cash on the sidelines. Now, these are telling signs because these are the people with the money. Okay, then watch for the yen carry trade, the won, which if we recall in 1997, South Korea's, the Asia financial crisis admitted, was started from the implosion of the South Korean economy. And of course, the US dollar, which is due to its unsustainable debt and banking crisis. Now, US actually have a banking crisis, as Evelyn said that a lot of banks are in trouble, but then you do not see the banks reporting them in their earnings report because all those unrealized losses are being parked into a different segment. Okay, it's not incorporated inside. Now, for your information, US banks are in the red because of the falling asset, which are the bonds, okay, to the tune of more than 500 billion. Now, that is about 7 to 8 times higher than what happened during the Asian financial crisis. So, on the other hand, the implosion of the commercial real estate in the US. Okay, commercial real estates in the US are being sold between 80 to 90% discount. Okay, because the building owner can no longer sustain the debt payment. So if you look at it, besides bonds, which the banks hold as an asset, the loans themselves are also a form of assets. Now, a lot of the CRE loans will be due for refinancing next year, and it's a very huge chunk. And right now, those assets are under the water. The mortgage securities are under the water by almost 750 billion. So all in unrealized losses of 500 billion plus losses in mortgage securities of 750 billion, that would mean that the banks are in trouble for 1.3 trillion. Okay, so very, very huge figure. And QE could be back in play on a massive scale because stealth QE is already underway. The only way to save the banks is to launch a massive QE, okay, like what they did during the financial crisis. It's just like now, a fire is burning, they are just putting a lot more paper to cover the fire. Okay, and commodities and safe haven assets could benefit as a result because everyone wants to go into real assets. Okay, next.
Okay, we have one saying the paper cannot cover fire.
Yeah, so in terms of geopolitics, tension between NATO and Russia will intensify, may lead to a short burst of conflict, but due to the faltering EU's economy and the Trump admin needing to wind down the support to Ukraine, may see a negotiation for peace. Because the EU have no more money, is completely bankrupt. Okay, Germany has already de-industrialized, and France doesn't have the funds, okay, to become an active participant in the war. Okay, so war just makes everyone poorer. Okay, so Middle East crisis could intensify as the aim is to cripple the expansion of BRICS. In our book, we spend more detail in highlighting why we think the Middle East crisis will continue to explode. And even what happened in Syria right now, Syria is far from over. There are too many fractions, okay, fighting for their own beliefs and also for their own power base. And that is why I think it will be similar like another Libya, okay? Constant war and such. So US and China tension will intensify with provocations across the geopolitical chessboard. Everyone will be wanting to stay within their own sphere of influence. Now, more regime change narratives as the collective West lose their diplomatic clout against the global South. Now, the global South is expanding because of trade and economy, And you can see that in West Africa, a lot of the former colonies of France have kicked out their former colonizer. Okay, so France have lost a huge base of minerals, especially uranium, which help to power their economy. France actually have a lot of nuclear assets. In fact, they even export energy to other countries because of their fleet of nuclear reactors, nuclear plants. But right now, with the access to uranium in West Africa being cut off, I think France is going to face some big problems. Okay, there'll be proxy war in some regions and BRICS Plus expansion and adoption of a new financial system centered on gold. Now, next year will be very interesting because Brazil will take over the chairmanship of the original BRICS. And Brazil's Lula is a fan for a is a fan for a BRICS currency. So, of course, Trump say he will sanction countries 100% if they do not use the dollar. I think everyone is wishing he will do so. Okay, because US has no manufacturing base. The 70% of their economy is dependent on service. So without a strong manufacturing base, the US need to buy from somewhere. Okay, if you sanction 100%, no one wants to sell the goods to you. Okay, well, they will sell, because the Americans will pay for it, not the exporter. So I think Trump is again, he makes a lot of noise, I believe, but his policy is not deeply thought. Okay, but for example, he says that he wants to push Bitcoin higher, but because of the US financial system is linked to the US dollar, the higher Bitcoin prices go, it signifies that the US dollar need to devalue against Bitcoin. Okay, and the other thing is that if Bitcoin is used as a reserve, okay, how will the US make payment? Okay, so which means it still need the US dollar as a medium to make payment, because if the exporting country say, either you give me US dollar or give me gold, but I'm not going to accept your Bitcoin. So eventually, they still have to convert the Bitcoin to a currency. So I would say that a lot of people say that Bitcoin is a digital gold, but for me, I think Bitcoin is a good speculative asset. Okay, you can speculate because of a lot of people are going into it. Now, just to share with you, just a news today, El Salvador, the president who actually have a Bitcoin reserves. Okay, he says that he's just going to have Bitcoin as a reserve. Finally signed a deal with the IMF for a $1.3 billion loan, which the IMF specified that you have to discharge a portion of your Bitcoin, as one of the condition. You cannot hold so many Bitcoin as a reserve. So what happened? Okay, that's why there was a flash crash, okay, yesterday in Bitcoin, because they have to force to reduce their holding of Bitcoin in order to get the $1.3 billion loan. Now, the story is that because they want to use the loan to mine gold. So that is the conundrum, okay? Is Bitcoin the digital gold? I think Bitcoin is a speculative asset if you can afford it, as do other tokens. But for it to transition into a reserve asset, it mustn't have that kind of volatility, which means, go up multiples and then fall back down. So unless a lot of companies start to use Bitcoin as a reserve, then you can see an expansion of adoption. Then potentially there will be less volatility, and then perhaps people then will readily accept that Bitcoin can be treated as a reserve. But as in all types of wars because of the advent of technology. In a major war, the satellites and communication system will be the first to be put out. Okay, and great powers like Russia, China, US have the ability to launch a nuclear EMP that will destroy the entire grid. Now, if that happens, any digital currency will be worthless. Okay, so that is why it's good as a speculative asset. Okay, some have their applications, but you have to manage your investment accordingly. Do not go all in into one particular type of asset. Leave room for you to move into others. So, Evelyn, back to you.
Yeah, okay. So let's go through the summary. So we talk about the 2025 energy, and we talk about, how you can survive in a job. Visibility is very important. Be an asset to your boss. Okay. So, and prepare for this 2025 vibrant energy and be close. Also be an asset to your boss and, somebody that you cannot lose. It's just not the chart shows. And also in the outlook of 2025 with each economic sector, according to the 5 elements, in the wood, it looks like, because even in the Mother Earth Oracle also shows that there will be good harvest, better harvest, but however, because wood is very prominent, but the weather is going to be quite challenging, strong winds and storms. Water will be more prominent, and also with human movement, because we see those animal signs in the chart. There are elements of so-called sky horse in what we call in Chinese astrology. Once sky horse start to appear, that means people likes to travel a lot. I think the travel industries has been going up quite prominently. And finally, the fire attention will be on this fire related assets. Okay. And also earth, there is not much attention, slow moving as usual in terms of property. And in metal, precious metal and also automobiles industries such finance and all this, there will be attention, very high attention. And if you look at the chart for 2025, maybe I go back again. The chart itself, there's no metal energy. There's no metal element here. Metal needs to create water. So it will be like, also people needs to work hard because there is no resources to help. And at the same time, it could also mean, the constraint in supply chain, as just now, PC has stated also in his economic outlook slides as well, related to supply chain is going to be challenging. It's correlated. Okay.
So sometimes when I think when we talk about attention and so forth, sometimes when we say attention not enough, doesn't mean that the industry will do badly, but it could also mean that there's a scarce resources of it, okay, which would then boost the price. And I think in the property, I think it's not going to be a bit of it will be, in the US, they already have a CRE crisis. And right now in the US, they are also going to face a housing crisis. Canada already have a housing crisis. In fact, some people say Canada is approaching towards depression. The US housing crisis is now at the initial stage because a lot of investment were done with, buying properties for Airbnb. But because of the slowing economy, a lot of people, and rising property tax, rising interest rate, they cannot sustain the property. So in those touristic cities, the amount of housing that is put on sale, has risen compared to previous months. So that goes to show that the housing problem in the US has just started. So that is what is happening. Yeah, back to you, Evelyn.
Okay. So here means that it's attention because of not enough resource supply chain, and it's going to be challenging. So it's true that when we say attention, attention doesn't mean prominent elements doesn't mean the price will go up. In other words, next year you see a lot of wood, or years that see a lot of properties or a lot of earth, that doesn't mean the property price will go up. This year also a lot of earth, the property price also did not move that much. So it's more on the attention given. Sometimes even the smallest element, sometimes the price will go up. In a way, if you want to look at the opportunities and the trends. This is what we talk about also in our astrology and global trends membership space as well. Okay. So if you are interested to get our book, you can maybe PC, you can drop a link to download the free chapter. Okay, so for those that earlier on that Jean says that he downloaded the whole book, she is a few lucky one. Okay, so take it as a lucky draw. Maybe you go in, you can download the whole book also. You go and try. Okay. So you could be the few lucky one as well, huh? Okay, so you can download the free chapter now and hit start your strategic planning for this book. Check it out. If you are interested to get the book for free, you can always join us on our Astrology and Global Trends membership. Starts from 149 the membership per year, but this is what only you will get early access to monthly forecast presentation slides, and also at 2025 astrology and global trends talk. We have a year talk as well as the month talk, because every month we will focus on the upcoming month's energy as well. Okay, so this is what you will get, and comprehensive, you will get all this starter and then plus the book itself, where you can offset. Now you buy from our appointed online bookstore, you can offset 50 ringgit because the book itself costs around 50 only. And you will get it, you pay us 159 and then you get rebate of 50 ringgit. Okay, for this one. If you have a friends that comes in, we will even give further discount. And then the premium membership, you will get more things. All this plus the weekly insights. If you are practitioners of Chinese astrology, if you are not, it's okay. I will teach you how to align your destiny to your actions, to your strategy, in order for you to have better, better energy. Okay, and then the Chiman deity, if you know, I will also teach you this. So it's actually 329 per year. Total, you buy the book, we give you 50%, 50 ringgit discount, so you pay 279 only. Okay,
yeah, if
and
maybe I share a bit, of the weekly report. So I just replace the share first.
Okay, can. So actually the link out here already. And last one, just that if you all want to receive this gift, auspicious date to prepare you for 2025 Chinese New Year gift, you can join my Telegram channel. Okay, I will have that gift for you. Okay, so I think let me stop sharing. That's it from me. I'm hold on for a while. Okay, yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I will share the hold on.
Yeah, we'll put all the links in the chat box so you guys can actually click those links for the things that you want.
Thank you. Thank you, Casey.
Okay. So this is the what Evelyn said about the weekly report. Evelyn, you can see the slide? You can see the page?
I can see the slide. Yes, I can see.
So this is our weekly report, okay, where we write about the achievement chart, okay. Then I talk a bit about the market update, the closing of the US market, and talk about what are certain signals that are showing, some charts about US economic indicators. And then there are a page on China, the Chinese closing, the HSI closing. I focus on Hong Kong. So you may, but not on China, because not many people can access the Chinese market. So there are news excerpts from Xinhua, which are which I think are important. And from there, sometimes we give suggestions of what are the sector to look into. Then there is a bit on the DXY 10-year treasury, and we talk about gold and silver, what's happening in the gold and silver sphere, and what happened in the Shanghai Futures Exchange, then what is happening in the and then we talk about geopolitics, like recently what happened in Peru with the building of a fully automated port, where China played a role. Then this is the COMEX chart, what to expect next week. These are what you have in the weekly report. So Evelyn, you can continue sharing.
Okay, so I think that's about it for today's talk. Let me just share. We would like to ask, I think we can open the floor for questions, right?
Yes, let's do Q&A right now.
Yeah.
So let's maybe address the first one from Andrew. He said, what about the health and wellness? Did you cover it in your presentation?
Okay, what he wants to know about health and wellness. Let me go back to the Q&A. Where can I get the Q&A? This one?
Andrew
Chat
actually
box.
typed it in the chat box.
Oh, he typed it in the chat box.
Yeah, he wants to know about what will happen to the industry and health and wellness.
Health and wellness industries. Okay,
Yeah.
health and wellness industries will continue to do well because I think in the vibrant energy, a lot of people, especially if you are in the spiritual health, in the healing side, you will do quite well because this is related to the volatility of the energy itself. I do not know that, Andrew, we are in which sector of the health chiropractic and physio. Okay, chiropractic and physio is also due to it's more of aging population because in period 9 we also forecasted that those that related to servicing aging population, this type of things they will do quite well also. Okay, Andrew, does that answer your question? How about jewelry online?
From
Okay.
Damon, yeah.
Damon.
Jewelry online
Okay.
retail, okay.
Okay, jewelry online retail, because you see jewelry is related to gold, gold is related to
Gold.
metal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say that if you have any businesses, if you want to do well, you must incorporate in, no matter what business, you must incorporate in the fire element. What is the meaning of fire element in business here? Means that branding is important, social media presence, these are all fire things. Social media presence is important. So those that succeeded quite well in period 9, even you can see restaurant, if you have more stars in the Google review, people will go in more. So these are all online things. Okay, so it's also how you run your business besides the nature of the business itself, that if you want to continue to do well, in this period, because everyone spend time where? TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now there's more TikTok, more Instagram rather than Facebook. Famous old people like me. That will spend more time in this type of this one. So social media, even Facebook also. So the visibility, how you do promotion, how you do branding, the marketing is very important. Of course, because of the void, sometimes do marketing very well. Sometimes the product also quite disappointing, but they still do well. But of course, we all are people of credible, of integrity. So make sure that we also advertise, and people get what we advertise for, what we market for. That is very important. This is my, this one, because eventually the void, the foundation will collapse if you don't have, the facts or the foundation to support you. Okay.
Okay, good. So Alex said, thanks for sharing. Also, Damon, thanks for sharing. So any other questions? So if you have questions, this is the best time to put it in the Q&A box. We'll prefer it in the Q&A box. So
I have shut down my camera because I'm running low on resources.
Okay, no problem.
So I'm still online.
Yeah, okay. Any questions related to global trends? And also astrology, you can also ask us.
Okay, looks like we have covered everything. So since you guys have no more questions, then we are gonna end this session. very soon. So thanks, Evelyn, and also PC here. And before we go away, we have another one, Diamond, asking about red in 2025.
Okay, yeah, born in the year of red, right? Okay, for red year and all this, please go to my Telegram channel, join my Telegram channel. I will drop you a video, and also you will get invitation to my astrology talk next week. That we will talk about the 12 animal sign as well. And also the video that I made in my YouTube channel on the, you can also click on the link of video astrology global trends. Is my YouTube channel. You will see that that video on 12 animal sign forecast on opportunity and threats for 2025. So you go there. Generally the red, I can tell you now, is quite good. It's one of the few good animal signs that will do well. You will have the help of noblemen. For details,
awesome.
yes. For details, go to that video.
Yep, and you can join Evelyn's Telegram channel as well. So the link is up there. I just paste it again. So thank you very much, everybody, for being
Cassie,
here.
I want to add a
PC.
few things. Yeah,
Okay.
You can follow me at my Facebook page, and hold on while I put in my Rumble page. Now, I used to have a YouTube page, but because of the talk that I involved in is very sensitive about geopolitics, I've been shadow banned. So right now I uses Rumble, and let me share my Rumble link. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, that's all. What we say here, we have done a lot of research. That's why sometimes the truth that sometimes the content becomes a bit sensitive. That is, that's how even PC got shadow banned as well. So definitely the research is quite solid.
So this is one of the video slide. You can go there, access, then you can follow me. Once the bond price is depreciated. Okay, now there's a question why bond price depreciated even though central banks cut interest rates. Now the main reason is because investors still believe that the economy is still inflationary. Now, because of the US printing a lot of money to support the economy, the amount of money right now in the system is inflationary. And therefore, even when the Fed cut interest rate, they say, no. It won't help to reduce the cost of borrowing because the US monetary base have increased due to the debt. And that is how investors are reacting. So the only way to bring down the US interest payment is for the Fed to launch massive QE, which means that if there's no buyer, the Fed will mop up all the US treasuries. And that's the reason. That is why not only in the US and for any particular country, when the bank cut interest rate, if the yields keep on rising, it means that investors do not believe that the central bank have made the right policy, because whatever that is being done is inflationary. Okay, hope that answers your question.
Okay, awesome. So we have pasted all the links for you guys to click on it. So thank you very much for being here today, and we will hopefully have them, Evelyn and also PC, back for their next book. So thank you very much. Thanks, Evelyn. Thanks, PC.
Okay, thank you.
Have a
Thank you
great
very
lunch
much.
and a great day ahead.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay.